Hello, I'm Kira, this is Kit, and you're watching Chicago Reacts. I hope that you love this video. Today we are going to be reacting to Oversimplified's The War That Changed the English Language.
So we're going to find out what our language could have been.
That'll be really great. And if you do like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and definitely comment. Be nice, be kind. Also, let us know if there's something you'd like for us to react to so that we don't have to read your mind. That'd be great.
Let's get started.
Let's watch.
This video was made possible by Skillshare, an online learning community with over 17,000 classes in just about anything you can imagine. Keep watching until the end of the video to learn how you can get your first 2 months for free.
I really want to try out
England
the Skillshare
in the Middle
thing.
Ages. The sun is shining, the birds are singing.
Yep.
The children are playing in the village square. What a wonderful time to be alive. Hey, you're dying of dysentery. And also are being raided by Vikings. What an awful time to be alive.
Truth.
It's the year 900.
All
Europe
right.
is a Viking's wet dream. Raids
Yeesh.
galore. Hey, you want to go raid Paris? Okay. That particular raid didn't go too well, but the King of the Franks said, "You guys are pretty tough and scary. How about we give you land in northern France, and in return, you protect us from other Vikings?" And it was agreed. The Vikings
Okay.
set up the Duchy of Normandy, and then they went full-on French, converting to Christianity, learning the language, and making babies with the locals. England also had its fair share of Viking problems. In the 800s, Danish Vikings had conquered most of the country, but the Anglo-Saxons eventually managed to kick them out, although they left behind a bunch of Viking settlers. Now this guy's king. He sucks. Replace him with his brother. And he was like, "Hey baby, how you doing?" and had a son, and then turned around and was like, "Hey baby, how you doing?" and had another son. And then he
Ruh-roh.
died and no one was
That's
sure
not
which
gonna
one
be
to make
good.
king.
That's
This
not gonna
one,
be
because
good.
he's older. Not if I have anything to do with it. That
Oh,
works for us,
shit.
too. Then he grew up and married the Duke of Normandy's daughter and had a bunch of kids. Remember this one. He's important. Then his
Edward.
advisors came to him and said, "Hey man, all those Viking settlers that are living here, they might band together and kill you. Well then, why don't we kill them first?"
There
And
we
so
go.
it was. This pissed off the Danish king, who launched an invasion, and the Vikings conquered England once again. Then the Anglo-Saxons unconquered it, then the Vikings reconquered it. The king's
Felt
family
like
had to go into
deja vu
exile,
here.
including Edward. Remember him? He went to Normandy where he lived for 30 years. He and his brother Alfred tried to return to England to retake the throne from the Vikings, but they were betrayed by the Earl of Wessex, who said, "Hey friend, I'll take you to London where all the nobles are waiting to make you king. Oh no, look out, red hot poker in the eyes.
OMG.
I can't see."
Oh.
And thus you can't be king. Edward then escaped back to Normandy. After a
God.
few more Viking kings came and went, one finally died without an heir, and Edward was called back to England where he
Edward's like,
became
"I'm
king.
back."
And that's where our story begins.
Wow, whew, it hasn't even started. I'm already sweating.
Here's the thing about becoming a king in the Middle Ages. Often your entire country won't support you at first. You can be vulnerable to rebellions, and it's up to you to take control. Fortunately for Edward, there was already a super powerful guy who had a lot of control over England, and if Edward could get his support, then England would be his. Who is this guy? Oh, piss, it's the guy who gave my brother the red hot poker. After an awkward moment where Edward exiled Godwin from the country, he eventually had to give in and let him keep his earldom, possibly after Godwin gave him a bunch of gold and said he was very, very sorry. King Edward also married Godwin's daughter. Then Godwin died,
Well,
and
that'd
his
be a
massive
way to-
fortune was passed down to his sons, who all became earls. In particular, this one became the new Earl of Wessex. Harold Godwinson was now King Edward's brother-in-law. He was a close advisor to the king, a brave warrior who had proven himself in battle against the Welsh, and in many ways he was almost like a co-king. Uh-oh, Edward got old and he's on his deathbed. Possibly for religious reasons, or maybe because he wasn't happy about having to marry her, he didn't boink his wife, and as a result has no kids, meaning there's no obvious heir to the throne, meaning I'm gonna be king. He does have a grandnephew, it could be him. No, let's go with me. Just one problem. I mentioned that Edward's mother was a Norman. Edward grew up in Normandy, and he had a lot of Norman friends. The current Duke of Normandy was William the Bastard. Why was he called the Bastard? One day, his father was sneaking out of his castle when his advisors said, "Where are you going?" To the tanner's shop? Why? To get a tan. But that was a lie. Firstly, because tanners give you leather, not tans. And
Right.
secondly, because he was really going to see the tanner's daughter. One thing leads to another, and out comes baby William,
Oh,
born out of wedlock.
no.
Thus, an absolute bastard. His father died when William was 7 or 8, and he became the new Duke. He spent most of his
Wow.
childhood narrowly avoiding assassination, which probably turned him into the big balls tough guy he's remembered as today.
Yeah.
In 1051, the town of Alençon tried to rebel against him, and the townspeople beat on dead animal skins as an insult to his commoner mother. William was
Ooh.
furious, and he responded by, well, let's just say it wasn't pretty. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. William and Edward were good friends, and Edward allegedly promised that William could have the English throne after him. A decade later, Harold Godwinson even visited William and pledged an oath to him over holy relics, promising that William could be the next king of England. Although it's possible Harold only did it because William was holding his family hostage. So when William heard that the king was on his deathbed, he said, "Hooray, I'm going to be king." So now you have two extremely powerful men who both think they're about to become the next king.
Right.
But wait. This guy is the king of Norway.
Oh
He spent
my
most of his
God.
life as a warrior for hire, fighting for whoever would give him the most gold. You name a place, he probably fought a war there. Poland? Yep. Estonia? Yep.
Wow.
Against pirates in the Mediterranean? Yep. The Holy Lands? Sicily? And Bulgaria? Yep. He got crazy rich off the back of it and
Talk
was
about big
swimming in
balls.
gold. Then he returned home and became king. One of the previous Norwegian kings had made an agreement with one of England's Viking kings, saying that when that Viking king died, the king of Norway would get the English throne. Hardrada felt that because of this agreement, he was now entitled to the English throne. He was also eager to go on one last big conquest that would turn him into a legend. So when he got word that Edward was on his deathbed, he thought, I'm going to invade England, and then I'm going to be king. So now we have three extremely powerful men who all think they're about to become the next king of England, and that means somebody's probably about to
do you
get
think?
hurt.
I'm
Back in
gonna
England,
go
Harold
with my
Godwinson
boy
is watching
William,
over the dying
the
king
bastard.
Edward. Suddenly, he comes
Or
out with
as I
a
like to
shocking
call him, the
announcement.
conqueror.
Hey, everyone, gather in. That's it. Come closer. Don't be shy. Okay, so I've got bad news. The king is dead. I know, very sad.
Yeah.
But good news. He said that I should be the next king. So, hooray for me.
So yay, long live
And,
the king.
Oh yeah, he said that if he once told anyone else they could be king, that he doesn't like them anymore and they should just stay in Normandy. And also he said that no one should ask any further questions. Okay, good talk.
No
on.
curiosity allowed.
Alright.
Yep. No.
Good talk.
Go
Just
do
believe
whatever
me.
it is you do. Usually it took months of preparation to crown a new king, but Harold rushed it and he had himself crowned the same day King Edward was buried.
Well,
In Normandy,
yeah.
William's advisors came to him and said, "Hey Big Willie, bad news, Harold Godwinson has taken the English throne." And William was furious, so he sent an envoy to Harold who said, "William says you stole the throne and demands you immediately return it to him." Let me think about that.
No.
Nope.
No. He said no. That bastard. Wait, I thought you were the bastard. Dude,
Yeah, seriously?
uncool.
Yeah, uncle,
William
get out of
immediately
here.
began
Yeah,
gathering
you're
his
on
armies
fire.
together and
You're
preparing
fired.
for an invasion
I'm not
of
even
England.
gonna kill you. I just want to even look at you.
Now, killing a king was generally frowned upon in old-timey
Chill.
Europe because they were considered to have been chosen by God himself. So back in Normandy, William had to get God on his side. He needed the Pope's blessing.
OMG.
And said, "Godwinson made an oath to me over holy relics, and then he usurped the throne. Can I kill him?" Sure, why not?
Oh,
Yeah, sure, why
So
not,
the
my
Pope
son?
gave William his blessing, meaning William now had God on
Wow.
his side. Everything was ready to go.
Probably
Just
is it
one
that
vote.
easy? Oh,
The
yeah,
wind.
okay.
It was blowing the wrong way, and William had to wait with his army
Money
in
will
Normandy.
do
While
it.
Godwinson waited with his army in the south of England. They waited, and waited, and waited, and then William said screw it and sailed for England and got shipwrecked because the wind was blowing the wrong way. So then he decided to keep on waiting. They waited for 2 months and the wind never changed. Eventually Godwinson got bored and also ran out of food for his soldiers. So he sent them all home and he returned to London. The south coast was undefended and all
Oh,
William could
man.
do was keep waiting. While the
And then the
northerly
winds
wind
changed,
kept William
right?
in Normandy, it was
Oh, here
carrying
comes the
Hardrada and his
Norman,
Viking army
or
to
the
England.
Well,
Vikings.
yeah.
Hardrada
well, the
landed
wind's
near
right
the
for
old
them, I
Viking
guess.
city of York and defeated a regional army led by the Northern Earls, and York surrendered. When Godwinson heard about this, he must have been pretty upset. He had just disbanded his army, and now he had to gather them all together again and march all the way north. He made the exhausting journey in just 4 days, which
Whoa.
is crazy quick, and he caught the Vikings off guard and unprepared for battle. The two armies stood on either side of the river Derwent. Legend says that a berserker Viking single-handedly held the only bridge crossing the river, dodging arrows and fending off attackers, until some English soldiers got
Wow.
under the bridge in a barrel and gave him the
Man.
old spear in the jewels. This gave the Vikings enough time to form a shield wall, but because they had been caught off guard, many weren't wearing their chainmail and
Oh,
armor, and the
no.
English eventually defeated them, killing Hardrada, and with him, bringing the Viking era in England
king
to
dead.
an end.
One down, one to go. Still waiting for the wind.
Big Willie. There we go, Big Willie.
And they're all the way north.
Finally.
Go, 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 go.
William's fleet
Come on,
of over
Willie.
700 ships and 14,000 men set sail and landed on the English coast at Pevensey and set up camp near Hastings. And Harold was still all the way in York.
Yep.
His exhausted army had to march all the way south just days after their
Screwed.
battle with the Vikings.
Screwed.
Harold made it to London and
I'm rooting
considered
for
just
Willie.
staying there and waiting for William to come to him. But William forced Harold's hand by burning down a bunch of villages. Harold's army set out and met William's on the 14th of October, 1066, and both sides prepared themselves for the Battle of Hastings. The English were on a hill, so they decided to stay there because it was a good defensive position. The Normans approached, and the two sides probably spent a while yelling at each other.
Yeah.
William and the Normans had a few tactical advantages over the English. The first were the archers. The Normans sent volley after volley of arrows
Right
at the
on.
English, who formed a shield
There
wall
you
in
go.
defense. Then William sent his infantry up the hill. The English threw anything they had at them, and the Normans couldn't break through
Where
the
are
shield
their
wall.
emus?
Then the Normans' next tactical advantage came into play. William sent his cavalry up the hill, but even they struggled to break through the shield wall defenses. Wave after wave of infantry and cavalry came, and Harold knew all he had to do was let the Normans exhaust themselves and he would win. But then something a bit strange happened. It's possible the Normans incorrectly believed William had been killed. Maybe they lost their will to fight against the shield wall, or maybe it was an intentional deception tactic. But suddenly, the Norman forces turned and ran away from the English. Believing they had won, the English broke their shield wall and chased down the retreating Normans, who then turned around,
That's when
encircled
they
the
got
English
jumped.
troops, and cut them down. In the chaotic fighting that followed, Harold Godwinson was killed, the most popular theory being that he took an arrow in the eye. The English were defeated, and William had won. He was no more just a
I don't
bastard.
know if it's
now
a good
he
idea
was
that
a
the king
conqueror.
be in
At
the
first, the
battle.
English nobles were reluctant to make him king, but William burned down a few more villages, and the nobles eventually gave in
I
and
like
offered
his
him the
dance.
crown. As he was coronated, the local villagers in Westminster let out a cheer of support, but William thought it was a riot, so he burned down the village. William then had to go on a long and costly campaign of quelling rebellions and burning down villages all over England to force the people
I mean,
into
it makes
submission.
sense, right?
And England went through a massive transformation under its new Norman rule. English nobles were replaced with Normans. They built castles and grand cathedrals, but one of the most interesting changes occurred within the English language. The Normans brought their dialect of French to England, and it merged with Old English in ways we still live with today. First of all, the Normans were obviously the ones in power, so words related to power like government, judge, castle, and crown come from the Normans. Words that are considered posher or more refined are usually the Norman ones. At first, the Anglo-Saxons probably weren't that friendly to the Normans, while the Normans likely weren't that amiable towards the Anglo-Saxons. An Anglo-Saxon might come into a room, but a Norman would enter into a chamber. An Anglo-Saxon might buy themselves a shirt, while a Norman would purchase a blouse. And while that filthy peasant's new shirt may be fair, the Norman blouse is absolutely beautiful. The Normans actually considered some Anglo-Saxon words so crude that I can't even say them on YouTube. But there's more. Ask an Anglo-Saxon what job he does, and he might respond with some low-level trade, such as a baker, a miller, or a shoemaker. But a Norman has a skilled trade, like a painter, a tailor, or a merchant. The Anglo-Saxon farmers working in the fields owned many cows, pigs, and sheep, but once they were served up in a Norman banquet, they became beef, pork, and mutton. And written English changed too. Since many Anglo-Saxons couldn't write, the written language was romanticized. Your annoying friend that says cool whip might just be speaking an Old English dialect, as the
Cool
Anglo-Saxons originally wrote it when, where, and what, but the Normans swapped the W and H around.
Ah.
And the
When,
English
where, what.
A vowel sounded more like an O to the Normans, so you can thank them that you live in a home, not a ham. Hey, fun fact about William, the man couldn't read or write, not in French, not in English, not in anything. Well, what if I told you there was a place where you could learn French, English, even Japanese if you wanted? And not just that,
Skillshare?
pick up a musical instrument,
I don't
learn to
know.
code games
It
and
might
apps,
be.
animation, photography
Oh,
and
look
film,
at William.
anything
See,
you
even
could
after
dream
the
of.
war,
All
he was
taught by
starting to
Jane
get
and
his-
experts,
his
head
and you can
together.
get your first 2 months for free.
Taking
I'm talking
a
about
tour
Skillshare.
around his new country.
Yeah. So, dare I say it, we learned not only about fights, but also about words. As
And
I
well,
was-
halfway through that, I mean, probably less than that, I forgot that this was about what the war that changed the English language.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I was just enraptured in how the
Well,
war turned out.
So what I might be wearing is considered fair. What you're wearing is very beautiful.
Oh,
so there we
thank
go.
you.
So there we go.
I appreciate that.
And let's learn something. Let's A-E-I-O-U, and guess what? Sometimes Y. But I was rooting for my boy William. I actually know about the Battle of Hastings.
I figured you did.
Because I played
Yes.
Medieval 2 Total War, and one of the tutorial battles is the Battle of Hastings. And surprise, surprise, I won it from my boy William. I was one of his best commanders.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
It's interesting.
You're
to
welcome,
watch.
by the way.
It's interesting to watch some of those historical videos, just because you see these families fighting and then getting married to like the daughters of the very men who killed your father. It's very strange.
Like, can you imagine Thanksgiving? There probably wasn't Thanksgiving, but maybe like a
dinners,
family
yeah.
dinner. It's like
You think it's bad now.
You see your father-in-law is like, like the father-in-law makes a weird comment, like, oh, hey, by the way, how's your brother doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, sore subject.
Look,
oh
dude.
yeah, that's right. I killed your brother.
Yeah,
Remember when I poked his eyes out?
Yeah.
That was,
and you were like,
that
no,
was not
I love
cool.
him. He's my older brother. No.
yeah, Alfred, right?
Yeah, Alfred. Yeah. Alfred wasn't always keen on sight, though. There we go.
All right.
Shout
Well,
out to
thanks for
William.
watching, you guys. I'm Kira. This is Kit.
Mm-hmm.
This is Chicago Reacts. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if there's something you'd like for us to watch, comment in the comment thread below. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.